In this video, I'd like to look at conditional formatting using dates in formulas. Basically, this one's looking at comparing dates from today's date to dates in the past and dates in the future. So the starting point is to look at today's date, which you can find with the formula or the function equals today, open and close bracket. So today's date is the 25th of July 2016. In this example, I'm going to compare today's date with a date in the future, the 1st of August 2016, and a date in the past, the 20th of July 2016. The first thing to do is make sure that these cells here are just formatted as number, and then we will have a look at the difference between today and this date. So it's always best to check this way before you actually put the formulas into your conditional formatting. Then you are sure that you know how they work. So let's show you. Equals, and we'll put the date, the 20th of 7th 16, which is C12, minus today, open and close bracket, press enter, and you can see that's minus 5, so that's 5 days ago. And if we do the same with the 1st of August, equals C14, which is the 1st of August, minus today, that's today, open and close bracket, we get 7 days, that's 7 days in advance. So if you want this as weeks rather than days, you need to divide that by 7. So let's go and edit this formula. So click on the cell, press F2 for edit. Now remember, we need to take into account the way the calculation works. So we need to put brackets around this calculation to make sure that's done first, then divide by 7, and you can see we've got minus 0.71 weeks rather than so many days. And if we do the same to the other one, we put a bracket around the formula to ensure that's done first, and then divide by 7, and you can see that those 7 days have turned into 1 or 1 week. Okay, so they are the functions and the formulas we're going to use inside the conditional formatting, so we know what way round they work. So let's have a look. Over here I've put that I would like cells to turn red if they are 1 to 2 weeks before the date. Okay, so we're looking at before the date, and then 3 to 4 weeks before the date we'd like that to go amber, and if we put an entry in there that is a date, we want it to go green. And then I've added another one here, we'd like it to go blue if it's 6 to 8 weeks before the date. Okay, so these are all dates before today's date. And of course today's date changes every day. So the first thing is you come over to where you want your colours. So I've got a set of dates down the left hand side in column A, and I want the colours to appear in column B. So you need to highlight the whole of the column where all the cells are next to the dates that we're going to compare. So that's all highlighted. Then come up to your Home tab and Conditional Formatting and click New Rule. Then choose Use a Formula to determine which cells to format. So let's now put the format in. So we're going to do the red one first, so we'll select, make sure you select fill at the top if you want it filled red, click red and OK. So you can see here exactly how it's going to turn out. So now we want to put the actual formula in. So if we just click this button at the end here, that just minimizes it out the way. Always start with equals. So we've got equals, and if you remember, we want it to go red between 1 to 2 weeks. So we've got to do this as a logic test, because we need to test the 1 week and the 2 weeks. So let's show you how we do this. We type equals and, we'll use the and logic, open bracket for the and, open the bottommost bracket. If you remember, we want to force it to do the calculation first, and we want this date here, A2 at the top, minus today's date. So it's today, open and close bracket. Now, because we want this to work all the way down that range, we need to take this absolute off of A2. So if you just click anywhere in A2 and press the F4 key on your keyboard, once, twice, 3 times, that will remove the dollar signs. Now we need to close the bottommost bracket, and then we divide it by 7. Okay, so that says how many days it is from today's date to the date on the left hand side. But this is a logic test, so we want to check those weeks. So if we said if that is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to come down and click this 1 here, okay, which is H5. I'm going to keep that as absolute because we want that to be referred to all the way down column B. And so with an AND function, we've got to have at least 2 logical tests. So you put a comma, and now we do exactly the same. Open a bottommost bracket, then we're going to say A2, and if you press the F4 1, 2, 3 times there, minus today, close the bottommost bracket, divide by 7, and then we want to say that's less than or equal to the 2, which is in I5. So the first part of it, we're testing to see if it's greater or equal to 1, and then in the second half of the AND logic test, we're testing to see if it's equal or less than the 2. We can now close the AND off, click this button here, click OK, and you'll see over on the left hand side that all the dates that are between 1 to 2 weeks from today's date, you've got red formatting in the cells here. So now if we want to do the same with amber, that would be exactly the same. So again, remember to highlight the whole region or that you would like to conditionally format. Let's go to conditional format, manage rules, and if you click edit rule, if you highlight all of that, hold control down and press C. Let's just cancel that one, and now we'll add a new rule. Use a formula to determine which cells. Let's format this to amber, so we'll use this color here, and then we'll paste that function into here. So that's all correct apart from the H5 and the I5, because that needs to refer to the 3 and 4 over here. So if we increase the 5 to a 6 in both of these, that's now referring to the 3 and 4 over here. Click OK, click apply, and you'll see on the left hand side we've now got red and amber. But I'm going to cover the green for an entry. So this time Let's have a new rule. This time we're going to come down to format cells that contain and change cell value to contain no blanks. In other words, it's got an entry. Let's format that to green. Click OK and apply that. We won't see any changes until we enter something over here. So let's click OK. Let's enter a date in here. Doesn't matter what the date is really. 7/8/16. Press enter and you can see that turns to green. If we take the date out, it'll turn back to red. So the final one is that I want to do some blue based on 6 to 8 weeks before the date. So let's, again, we need to highlight the whole region. There it is highlighted. Conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula to determine which cells to format. We can paste our formula back in, it's still in the clipboard, and this time it's the 6 and the 8 we want, so we need to move that H5 down to 6, 7, 8. So let's turn that 5 into an 8. Let's make sure that we format the fill color again to blue. Click OK, click OK, and there we have it. We've got red for all those that are within 1 to 2 weeks of the date on the left hand side, all those dates that are within 3 to 4 weeks on the left hand side, and all those that are within 6 to 8 weeks from the left hand side. And any time we type a date in, whatever the date might be, it will just turn green.